In the far reaches of the galaxy, where the stars twinkled like scattered diamonds on a velvet canvas, humanity had carved out its place among the cosmos. We were explorers, innovators, and above all, patient. For centuries, we'd been the quiet observers, watching as other species flitted about, some friendly, others not so much. But one fateful day, that patience would be tested in ways no one could have predicted. It all began with the Gravaxians, a race known for their insatiable appetite for conquest and an impressive collection of stolen technology. They were the kind of aliens who believed that if it wasn't theirs, it should be. Their ships were sleek, their weapons advanced, and their manners, well, let's just say they weren't winning any intergalactic etiquette awards. The Gravaxians had set their sights on Earth, believing our planet to be ripe for the picking. They descended upon us like a swarm of locusts, demanding tribute in the form of resources, technology, and a hefty dose of respect. The United Nations held an emergency meeting, and after hours of heated debate, they decided to take the high road. Let's try diplomacy, they said. Maybe they'll see reason. But reason was not something the Gravaxians understood. They laughed at our offers of friendship, mocking our attempts to negotiate. You think you can bargain with us? Their leader, a bulbous creature named Zargoth, bellowed through his translator. You are nothing but ants beneath our feet. For months, humanity endured their taunts and demands. We sent them fruit baskets, peace treaties, and even a Netflix subscription, because who wouldn't want to binge-watch Earth's best shows? But every gesture was met with scorn. It seemed the more we tried to appease them, the more they pushed back. Our patience, once a virtue, was wearing thin. Then came the day that changed everything. The Gravaxians decided to make an example of us. They launched a surprise attack on New York City, using our own technology against us. Buildings crumbled, chaos erupted, and amidst the destruction, something snapped within the hearts of humankind. A group of scientists, engineers, and former military personnel gathered in a hidden bunker beneath the city. They called themselves the Humanity's Last Stand. Led by Dr. Ellen Ramirez, a brilliant astrophysicist with a penchant for sarcasm, they devised a plan that would go down in history. All right, team, she said, her voice steady despite the tremors of fear that coursed through the room. We've tried being nice. Now it's time to show these oversized space lizards what we're made of. They worked tirelessly, creating a device that would amplify human emotions into a wave of energy powerful enough to disrupt the Gravaxian ships. The catch? It relied on the collective anger of humanity, so they needed to rally the people. Dr. Ramirez took to social media, posting videos of the Gravaxians' antics. Look at these guys, she exclaimed in one clip, showing footage of Zargoth slipping on a banana peel during a live broadcast. Do we really want to let them take over our planet? Let's give them a taste of their own medicine. The response was overwhelming. Memes flooded the internet, and soon the entire world was united in their disdain for the Gravaxians. People shared stories of their worst customer service experiences, ridiculous alien encounters, and even the time someone stole their parking spot. Anger boiled over, and with it, the power of humanity surged. On the day of the counterattack, the skies darkened as the Humanity's Last Stand activated their device. A massive wave of energy pulsed outward, striking the Gravaxian fleet. The ships shuddered, their systems going haywire. Zargoth, who had been preparing for a grand victory speech, found himself floating helplessly in zero gravity, tangled in a mess of cables and snack wrappers from the human snacks he had deemed inferior. As the Gravaxians struggled to regain control, the tide turned. Human ships, retrofitted with the very technology the Gravaxians had stolen, soared into battle. With each passing moment, the tide shifted further in humanity's favor. Laughter erupted across the globe as live feeds captured the absurdity of the situation. The mighty conquerors reduced to flailing around in their own ships, while humans cheered from their couches. Finally, the Gravaxians retreated, their pride shattered, leaving behind a trail of chaos and confusion. As they fled, Zargoth's last words echoed through the void. "You will regret this. We will return." But humanity didn't care. We had won. We had shown the universe that there was a limit to our patience, and when pushed too far, we could unleash a force unlike anything they had ever seen. In the aftermath, Earth celebrated its victory. Parades filled the streets, and the phrase, "Don't mess with Earth," became a popular slogan. The humanity's last stand transformed into a global movement, advocating for unity and resilience. And as for Dr. Ramirez, she became a household name, her videos racking up millions of views, turning her into an unexpected celebrity. Years later, as humanity continued to explore the stars, we remained vigilant. We knew the Gravaxians might return, but we also knew that when they did, they would find a species that had learned to stand together, to laugh in the face of adversity, and to fight back with a fierceness that would leave even the most arrogant of aliens trembling. And so, the galaxy learned a valuable lesson. Never underestimate the power of a species that knows how to laugh, especially when they finally had enough. Because when humanity snaps, it's not just a moment. It's a cosmic event, one that echoes through the stars and reminds every species out there that sometimes the best weapon is a good sense of humor, combined with a fierce determination to protect what's ours. As the years rolled on, humanity expanded its reach into the cosmos. With each new planet colonized and every star system explored, we carried with us the lessons learned from our encounter with the Gravaxians. We became known not just for our technological prowess, but also for our uncanny ability to adapt, improvise, and above all, laugh in the face of danger. However, the galaxy is a vast place, filled with wonders and horrors alike. And while many species respected humanity for our resilience, others viewed us as a threat. The Zynari, a race of hyper-intelligent cephalopods, were particularly wary. They had heard tales of the Gravaxian debacle and were determined to avoid a similar fate. So, they devised a plan. They would outsmart humanity before we even knew what hit us. The Zynari sent emissaries to Earth, cloaked in their shimmering bioluminescent skin, presenting themselves as peaceful diplomats. They spoke of alliances, trade agreements, and shared knowledge. "We come in peace," they assured us, their tentacles waving gracefully. But beneath that calm exterior lay a cunning intelligence, one that sought to manipulate rather than collaborate. Dr. Ramirez, now a seasoned ambassador, was skeptical. She recalled the Gravaxians' initial charm and how it had masked their true intentions. Yet, the world was eager to embrace this new opportunity. After all, who wouldn't want to partner with an advanced civilization that could teach us about underwater agriculture and sustainable energy? As negotiations progressed, Dr. Ramirez noticed something odd. The Zynari were too eager, too accommodating. They offered us technology that seemed almost too good to be true. Solar panels that absorbed light even in the dark, a machine that could turn seawater into fresh water instantly. It all felt like a trap, and her instincts screamed for caution. "Guys, I think we should slow down," she urged during a meeting with the UN Council. "What if they're trying to soften us up before striking?" But the allure of progress was too tempting. The majority dismissed her concerns, convinced that humanity had learned enough from past encounters to handle any potential threats. They laughed off her warnings, calling her paranoid. "We're not the Gravaxians," they said. "We can handle ourselves." As the Zynari's influence grew, so did their hold over key resources on Earth. They began integrating their technology into our infrastructure, subtly altering systems to make them reliant on Zynari tech. And then, without warning, the power went out. One morning, cities across the globe plunged into darkness. Communications failed, transportation ground to a halt, and panic spread like wildfire. The Zynari had executed their plan, disabling Earth's grid and leaving us vulnerable. In the chaos, they revealed their true colors, launching a coordinated takeover of critical facilities. Dr. Ramirez, however, wasn't ready to give up. Gathering a small group of loyalists, scientists, engineers, and even a few former military strategists, she set up a makeshift command center in an abandoned subway station. "We've faced worse," she declared, rallying her team, "and we're not going down without a fight." Using her knowledge of Zynari technology, she devised a countermeasure. "If they can disable our systems, we can disable theirs," she explained, her eyes alight with determination. "We'll create a feedback loop that will overload their network and give us back control." With limited resources and time running out, they worked tirelessly, crafting devices that could intercept Zynari signals and redirect them. Meanwhile, the Zynari tightened their grip, deploying security forces to maintain order. The situation grew increasingly dire, and hope began to wane. Just when it seemed all was lost, a glimmer of inspiration struck Dr. Ramirez. "What if we used humor?" she mused aloud. "They don't understand our culture. They see us as simple creatures. Let's give them a show they won't forget." Her team looked at her incredulously. "You want to distract them with jokes?" one engineer asked, half laughing. "Exactly. If we can get them laughing, or at least confused, we might buy ourselves some time," she replied, her enthusiasm infectious. They quickly assembled a series of humorous video clips featuring absurd scenarios, aliens tripping over their own tentacles, humans attempting to dance with Zynari in an awkward interspecies disco, and even a mockumentary showcasing the Zynari's supposed hobbies, which included competitive bubble blowing and synchronized swimming. Once they had compiled their material, they hacked into the Zynari communication channels, broadcasting the videos across their networks. The effect was immediate. Confusion erupted among the Zynari ranks as they watched their dignified image dissolve into a chaotic montage of slapstick comedy. Tentacles flailed, and the once serious discussions turned into laughter, albeit bewildered laughter. Seizing the moment, Dr. Ramirez and her team launched their countermeasure. As the Zynari struggled to regain composure, the feedback loop activated, sending shockwaves through their systems. One by one, their defenses crumbled, and humanity reclaimed control over their networks. In the aftermath, the Zynari retreated, utterly baffled by the unexpected turn of events. Their grand plans thwarted by a barrage of human humor, they left Earth with a newfound respect, and perhaps a bit of fear, for the unpredictable nature of humanity. As the dust settled, Dr. Ramirez stood before a crowd of cheering supporters. "We may not always have the upper hand," she said, "but we do have something that no other species can replicate: our ability to laugh, to unite, and to stand together against any challenge." From that day forward, humanity became known not just for our strength and resilience, but also for our wit. The galaxy learned that we were not merely conquerors or victims. We were a force of nature, capable of turning the tide with a well-timed joke and a shared sense of purpose. And so, as we ventured further into the stars, we did so with a renewed spirit. We embraced our quirks, celebrated our differences, and forged alliances built on laughter and understanding. Because in the end, it wasn't just about survival. It was about thriving, and doing so with a smile on our faces. And who knows? Perhaps one day the Zynari would return, not as conquerors, but as friends, ready to share a laugh and join us in our cosmic adventures. After all, the universe is a big place, and there's plenty of room for humor, camaraderie, and the indomitable spirit of humanity.